That's, of course, one of my favorite bands right there. Matchbox 20. Stand RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day. I know I am for sure. Man, this show started off, I had notes, made it work. Started off as one thing. No. Then it became another thing. I was totally going to do another show. No. Then I'm doing this one, and it almost spun into a fourth show. What the freak is going on? I will say one thing that's was going to be a show, and I'll just do a quick on it. The thing, I'm still waiting for the formal offer, right? And it's taken time, and it's just funny. I wanted this to kind of come into play on this whole concept of progression, which is obviously what I'm calling this one. And I'm going to start with this because I was going to do a whole separate show, but the same concept is there. And this is meant to be for all the specific people, for the people that are in processes. I constantly keep talking about and trying to remind people, here's some really awesome examples, I think, of that. And I'm really hoping to bring some attention to it. So from the standpoint of this job, I got the verbal. I know for sure I have it. But until I have the written piece of paper, the formal offer, the one I signed, scan, and send back, I can't put in my notice. I can't actually get moving forward on anything. So I'm in limbo. I know it's happening. Should I get upset about it? Should I question it? Should I, at this point, go, maybe they're not going to choose me? Should I? Or do I understand that this takes time sometimes? And even though this offer we were hoping to be done at the end of business, it was extreme. There's no chance. He said, I don't want to make promises I can't keep. So today's Thursday. We were hoping for Wednesday night, but no, HR, it's another department, right? All right, today. Well, it didn't happen. He had a meeting at 2 o'clock or noon my time. They ironed out whatever they ironed out. Said he'd get in touch with me at 5 his time, which would have been 3 my time, which I never actually saw that. I'm looking right now because I'm just curious. And I'm going to dog time. But my point is all of this stuff is progression. It is part of, he still didn't get in touch with me, right? That's the way it is. Should I question it? No. It's in progress. Things are happening. I'm sure of it. Did I get the formal offer yet? No. Is it right in my hand? No. Where I look right now, is it happening? No. Do I question it? No. I know exactly what's going on. This is how it's supposed to be. It's happening. Some things take a hair longer than you'll want them to. Even though you know full well what's happening. Even though you know it's in process. It doesn't necessarily sometimes happen as quickly as we'd like them to. So one thing, I don't know why I'm saying this, so I'm just going to read this out loud, and then I hope to God I get my train of thought going. I listen to something, and I don't just believe it. Yes, I look at it and go, I can relate to that and appreciate it. So one thing I keep hearing about a lot of things, and what this means to try to illustrate, is the way all of us are progressing. We're changing. We're evolving. This is definitely part and parcel or directly related to the relationships that we're truly going after right now, the love thing, right? The whole specific person thing. And we're trying to get there, and we're trying to make progress. And so if it's a breakup, you've got your angle where you're trying to heal, trying to work through things, trying to grow as people, right? If it's an issue of trying to get with someone that maybe doesn't know you, I am worthy. I definitely love myself enough. He thinks I'm attractive enough. Like all of the kinds of things that are more of a confidence-driven, like you just walk into the room and own the room with your energy. And if it's someone that doesn't even know you at all, then it's more of we will bump into each other. I will have the opportunity to talk with them. I will be someone they want to talk to. They'll be like, oh, hey, who are you? Like I will stand out in their minds. Like you can, of course, create those avenues and work and grow towards them. So when a lot of us first start, we're at the base. Maybe we just sucked. We knew nothing. And my example was before any of us knew anything about law of attraction. We knew anything about law of attraction at all. We were operating in life just fine, right? I mean, yeah, we had our struggles, weren't doing things maybe necessarily the way we wanted, or maybe we were, or whatever the case was, however your life is playing out. Prior to knowing anything about the law of attraction, your life was void of that knowledge. It was existing, mind you, all of these things were happening to you because of the thoughts you were thinking, the patterns you had, all that kind of stuff. But you didn't know anything about it. You didn't realize that mattered, right? Then all of a sudden you saw your first thing, your first book, your first video, your first whatever it was that went, and it hit you. Your soul screamed. Inspired action, by the way. That's what that feels like. That's a major one for life ones, for sure. But again, that first thing happened. And really, when you saw it, and this is kind of how I view things, I guess that's why I was writing, I look at it and go, wow, that really resonates with me. Interesting. So now I've got this one video, and you've got this one video or this one book or this one interesting article you read that really just made it stand out like, wow, I have an effect on my own life. Or because I keep blaming my mom, I'm probably having this issue. Wow, that's weird. Like, whatever it was, some sort of causation between your beliefs, thoughts, experience, all these things are interrelated. So you're like, oh, wow, okay, there's definitely this aspect of, wow, this is interesting. So maybe I watch a couple more videos, right? And I'm watching this individual and I'm learning and growing more. And even though where I'm at right now, right, when we first watched that first video, and again, prior, LOA, before we even knew anything, right? We thought we were right. We thought we had everything figured out. We thought we were dialed in. Then we watched our first video. We realized, oh my gosh, wow, so much I did not know. So much I did not realize was behind door number one. Oh, changes our lives. And then we find that maybe we watch that John Kendall, that friend of Anya's, I don't know his last name. I'm sorry. He's really awesome. Everyone keeps quoting him to me, and I apologize. I'm way too busy to be trying to follow everybody else. I just try to do my own thing, right? So anyway, Anya's I love because we do shows. By the way, we have another show coming up. Oh, I forgot to mention this. If you're this far into the show, you actually are, your comments are perfect, because otherwise you've already bailed out on me because I'm halfway through and that's where everyone goes, right? If you have a question you'd like me and Anya to talk about, please throw it in the comments. There's obviously going to be a number of different questions. If some of you start to go, yeah, I'd like to know that. Yeah, I'd like to know that. If you guys can glom onto an idea, I'll throw it at Anya as the question we're going to talk about, because we're meeting this weekend in like 2 days. And we'll pick a topic pretty much the day of. It's not like we're going to do a bunch of research, but we'll talk about it. So comments, throw what you'd like me and Anya to talk about, because we are recording, and this weekend I'll be releasing our newest video. So again, that's sidetrack totally, but worthy sidetrack, and especially this far into the video. So just because we thought we were right when we just read our first video, watched our first thing, and we thought now I get it, all makes sense. Right, and then we watched John Curonda, or whatever his name is, Anyas, and then we watched maybe Wayne Dyer, then we watched Hicks, maybe we've watched a bunch of Goddard, maybe you've watched me, right? Obviously, you're here. So whatever, right? You've watched additional stuff. You've got all these additional vantage points, all this extra information. And like I said, vantage points I like because I think it's different angles. So now you've got all that, and it helps broaden your picture even further. So back when you thought, before you knew anything about LA, I got this all figured out. I know it all, right? I don't know anything about LOA, but I got life figured out. I get it. I don't know why all this bad crap's happening to me, but I get it. I totally get it. Then you're like, I watched this video and I realized there's this causation between what I do and what I say and think, and somehow, however that came out your first time. And you're like, oh, wow, this might actually be because of me. Wow, well, I totally got this. I know this now. Now all of a sudden you've got all these vantage points and you know a whole bunch more. Who knows when we finally hit the truth? Who knows when we finally have it completely figured out? Who knows when that moment is, when it finally all makes sense to us? It's a progression. It's an evolution. Your tomorrow should hold more surprises and knowledge and wisdom than your today. And this applies to trying to manifest your specific person, the in-progress aspects of it, the growth that you're going through as an individual. Again, if you're broken up, you've got some stuff that you're trying to work through. You have to evolve through that. You will not work together at the same level that you guys broke up at. You need to grow at least. It'd be cool if he does too. If you do for sure, you got a chance. If he does also, awesome. Even better. Your growth might cause it. He might come to it. But for those of you that are like, well, he needs to grow too, I disagree. I really disagree. He will, probably, but you, by growing, will change. Your way of seeing things will evolve. And when we grow, we actually change the way we experience the world. We change the things we think, and we actually change our reality. What we experience, what we understand of our experience, what literally happens in our lives begins to change. So if we're expecting anybody outside of ourselves to fix anything within ourselves, we have a lot of road to go. A lot of road to go. And a lot of us need to realize that if I'm not already happy within myself, then there's things that I need to see and look at and work on within myself. And that's probably what is hindering me from this thing that I perceive as my happy ending. This person or this experience or this amount of money or this whatever, this vacation. We put all this emphasis on these things that come from the outside to bring happiness to us when the reasons we don't have happiness coming from us on the outside is because we currently have no happiness on the inside. We have nothing of joy. We have no significance. We need to find that. We need to grow. We need to progress. And as we do, our whole world changes. The way we see things. Remember before LOA. Remember after your first video, your first book. Look where you're at now. Don't tell me there's not a progression. Don't tell me you've completely changed your understanding of anything in your world. Everything for that matter. This one thing. So when we evolve in our relationships, when we evolve with the way we look at other people, when we evolve in that direction, the same thing happens in the relationship, for example. Suddenly I see it completely differently. Suddenly things that used to bother me don't. Maybe suddenly things that didn't used to bother me now maybe do. It's possible. Not necessarily ideal by any means, but again, change. It's different. And you might find a whole new set of things to grow from next. You know what I mean? Like, this bothered me, but it was stupid. And then I evolved and like, oh, now I've got a new problem, but it is kind of a more evolved problem, right? It used to bother me about the toothpaste cap. Now he's like, well, it's your socks on the floor. Really? Can't you just at least kick them to the wall or something? Just kick them into the room, something? You know, like whatever your thing is. I always use my stupid examples. I'm bad about throwing just socks. I don't care. I just chuck them on the pile of clothes. I don't care. It's like I live alone. Talk about not inviting, right? But I'm not. And then the toothpaste cap was just a thing that bugged me when I was younger. That's the only reason I keep using those examples. But that's true. That all being said, these, I think, are the really important steps of our evolution, of our growth, of trying to understand, why am I so frustrated? Well, because maybe we've got a little growth to do. A lot of us want our thing now, and we want to say, I've worked on myself, I self-love, I love myself. Do you? Because you're not acting like it. Maybe you are, but maybe you're not. Let's look a little bit inward. Let's try to figure out what's going on. Let's see if we can isolate these places where we need to evolve, grow, to look at differently. Maybe we need to study this dynamic a little more. Maybe we need to watch more LOA videos on this area, right? So not just specific people, but maybe it's doubt. Maybe it's self-worth. Maybe it's like, get off the specific person thing for a minute and start focusing on the actual issue that's holding you back. And then at that point, a whole lot of things open up for you and change. Once you resolve the issue, everything changes like that. It's truly that fast. Hopefully this helps. Going out with a song by 5 for Fighting. It's called 100 Years.